Trade is, as I said earlier, it affects many people. It affects the lives of people in the rural areas, people in the outer islands. Trade is everywhere and it's life for many people every day. In that way, it means trade is a cross-cutting. It's not only with the Ministry of Trade, it involves even other ministries working on trade and trade-related issues.
Transportation is very important for us, both by air and sea. And these two issues more or less have determined how our trade have developed over the years. We rely mostly on tourism as the revenue earner for our country. Tourism generates about 60% of our GDP, 60, going up to 75 in some good years. So we are heavily a tourism-based economy.
How I look at it, I think it's important that we should diversify and focus on adding more values, because as you know, the global demand for primary produce is slowing down. It's not growing. On the other hand, they would rather the demand for high value finished products is much higher, because trade is faster and then you add values to it, and then on the other hand it's cheaper rather than exporting a whole container of fresh produce.
It is crucial for the Pacific not to isolate itself as a region, but politically to be seen as part of the globe. It's not only China with the Road and Belt Initiative, which is reaching out to the Pacific. It is also Australia, it's New Zealand obviously, and it's also the EU. We have EPAs with the Pacific, not because we have huge amounts of trade, but because we see the Pacific as an important partner, and there are certain trade links which can be improved and which will benefit the region and will benefit also the relations between the EU and the Pacific. Direct impact, of course, of promoting trade is that it will help a country to overcome various challenges, like the gap between import and exports. For many countries, particularly in the Pacific, there's a huge problem of that imports dominate exports, and which has a negative impact on the trade balance and the balance of payments of a country.
The foreign countries really need to understand setting priorities, identify the immediate challenges, identify what needs to be done, and the trade policy frameworks are doing that. They have taken a big step. All the foreign countries almost now have a trade policy framework which provides guidance on how to do this. Another aspect that is coming in, and which is already touched on under this project, is trying to establish a trade mainstreaming manual or a guideline to assist these countries now to understand how to unlock the processes and take on everything.
At the moment, if you look at the Pacific Island countries, practically all of them have got a quite institutionalized arrangement in terms of linking trade to development. Many of them have actually gone to the extent of preparing sector development plans in areas where they have comparative advantage, and also considering ways in which they could harness some of these comparative advantages.
This initiative on mainstreaming of trade policy is extremely important for us Pacific Island countries, so you can incorporate it and include it in the national development plan. We have to make sure that everything is working together as an engine. So all the parts of the economy, they all combine and work together for one purpose, to grow the economy.
For the trade policy framework, the most important thing in my view is that there has to be ownership at the highest level. Once your president, the prime minister, supports the trade policy framework, that's it. That's a very good start.
We are now beginning with the establishment of a trade committee early this year, talking about these things. Now it's on the table, and we are getting everyone, we believe, is concerned and has a part to play around the table. And I'm sure over time and this kind of upskilling and learning from others, we can get our act together and really make sure trade is the contributor it's supposed to be to our national development.
I think development partners can play a key role for Pacific Island countries. Development partners have experience also from other regions and can provide technical assistance that is key, especially in places where maybe the capacity is limited because it's a small population. So there, development partners can play a key role in adding to that technical expertise that's nowadays needed for trade policy.
The workshop that was organized for the 2 days on 30th and 31st of October allowed the practitioners to really discuss what their issues were with regards to broader trade mainstreaming. I must say that I'm very impressed with the levels of discussions. It's quite amazing to see the maturity at which this region is with respect to fully engaging in terms of mainstreaming trade into their development agenda.
I believe the workshop has allowed us to improve what we're doing at the moment, to focus on areas where there are gaps in our country on trade issues, to allow us to network with others who are going through implementation of trade policy framework, those who have done it and have learned experiences. So being at the table for those 2 days in Niue was very important for us.
The workshop is, in my view, is an excellent initiative of bringing all the Pacific Island countries together. And then we learn from one another who is advanced in the establishment of the trade policy framework. And we see all the components of each individual countries.
I believe I will go back and share the knowledge I have with my other colleagues, and also we should looking at the trade policy frameworks that needs to be updated. I'm sure I will go and share the knowledge I have so that we can improve in what was our previous trade policy frameworks. Maybe we can put more of the latest priorities that were set in actually mainstream that into our national sustainable development code and into other sectors that we should put forward.
You know, we thank the forum and the efforts put in by the European Union TradeCom and external partners that help us get across the line on trade issues. You know, we are vulnerable states just merely because of our geographical location and our size. So this workshop has opened our eyes on how to strategically plan your trade policies. What do you need to have in place? What capacity you need? What type of connections you need to be aware of in respect of funds and funding opportunities to be able to have an effective trade or trading happening in the country.
One thing that came out during the whole program, it's not only the workshop, because the workshop is just the end of a long program that has been running in the region for a few months and where we have been trying to build capacity, right? So hopefully people will use the documents. That's the most important, that people use the documents, the manuals have been produced now, and put it into practice in their own countries. We have got a number of programs that are being implemented in the region, but this one with PIF and Niue was the first one that came to completion. The others are running, and normally they will be completed by 2018, mid-2018 approximately. So yeah, we look forward to working more with the region.